How do I respond to Christians who think this path is wrong? Well, I respect that. I think that's probably the biggest test I've had to come up against because the person that gave me the hardest time about it is my mom. And while my mom means well, we bump heads. And it's not because I think she's just trying to irritate me, but I don't do well when you're telling me something's wrong, but you can't give me a quote from the Bible. You can't give me a story, or you say, they said it's wrong, or the Bible says, or it says this. And it's like, who are these people you speak of? Now, I've listened to Pastor Stephen Darby, and he knows a lot of stuff, but he still kind of misinforms you with what he says because it's almost accurate. And if you understand what almost accurate means, it means that a good chunk of what he's saying is specifically accurate, but then the context or the meaning in which it's represented or some slight aspect of it is twisted and it just kind of throws off the truth of what was said. And I respect where he comes from because it's not his walk to do what I do or to understand it. And I know that there definitely are people who do some of the things he's described, but everybody is not doing that. And some of these misinterpretations are not only false, but they're keeping people from thinking for themselves. I've heard sermons where people tell you it's wrong to think for yourself and to lean not to your own understanding. And here's the thing. If you want to be a sheep, do that, but sheep get eaten. Okay? I'm not a sheep. I'm a human or a spiritual being having a human experience. Aren't you the same? I'm not going to let any human whose fallacies I can hear control my thinking to the point where I am not going to think for myself if my instincts and my gut align with me doing something different that actually works out better for me and isn't harming anybody. With that being said, when people attempt to judge me harshly, depending on who they are, it can hurt for like a day or two or 10. But recently, my mother jumped to conclusions on me spiritually and tried to offer me deliverance over a joke about $4,000 and a wig. And the 5-day implosion I experienced showed me that my faith in my Luciferianism is unshakable and that the best way to understand and respond to Christians is to read the Bible and listen to the sermons or the speeches that resonate when I feel led to do so. I have not abandoned God. I'm just not a churchgoer. I don't ascribe to any denomination. And I see Jesus as more of an ascended master and even a bit of a magician who tried to tell everybody, you can do what I do, but this is what you've got to do it. You've got to discipline yourself. You've got to be of improved integrity. You've got to give God the glory because He is source. He is the creator. You've got to learn how to lean not into temptation when it's necessary to stay focused. You've got to understand that sometimes even God will let some horrible things happen to you, not because he wants them to happen to you, but because there's a divine purpose for everything. And just because something's divine doesn't mean that it's not sometimes divinely fucked up. But life is life, and this is what we signed up for, the good, the bad, and the unexpectedly motherfucking ugly. So when I start to really look at the nuggets of wisdom and the esoteric energy that flows through the Bible on a new level, as well as a mundane level, as well as a practical level, and I know that there are some people who read the Bible from a logos versus, I forgot what the other level is. I have to remember that we're only going off the information we've been given, and you can only understand as much as you've studied, and you can only really understand and absorb as much as you've been given the capacity to understand and absorb. Everybody's not going to absorb the fact that Christianity is not for everybody. Everybody's not going to absorb the fact that the same way somebody might be half white and half black, somebody might be half this and half that. Somebody might have a blended mystique on things. Everybody's got a different personal walk and personal gnosis. At the end of the day, as a Luciferian and somebody who dabbles in the other side of things, you come across people who say and feel some crazy shit. And I'm sure there are people who are occultists who are going to listen to my uh, videos and go, this girl is crazy. What she says makes no sense at all. That's fine. That's why we all have different experiences. But if you resonate with what I'm saying, you will understand that this path will break you because people will constantly try your thoughts, but you're going to drive yourself crazy with your thoughts until you surrender and understand that if you're not interested in this, do not do it. If you feel called to this, then pray over it if you're worried about it. Take your time, do your research, read. Don't just jump in and start casting circles and summoning spirits or thinking that this will be very underwhelming for you if you're listening to me and trying to do all of that, because I don't have time to cast salt circles and summon things without making sure that the energy I'm bringing in is chill, is relaxed, is intelligent, is divine, and is on some new level type shit as opposed to some low vibrational bullshit. The only time I'm going to get low vibrational is when it's really, really necessary. And even then, if I can transmute it, I'd rather transmute it before I take it to that level because, again, there's better things to do with my time, my energy, my money, and my frequency. So at this point, how do I respond to Christians who think my path is wrong? Let them think whatever they want, and may the Lord be with them. I bid adieu. The end.